All right, guys, I haven't posted a video in a while. I've been getting several people asking me about the cost to upgrade this GSXR suspension onto a bike in general. Specifically, this one is a 2003 SV650. It's a second gen. It's a pretty easy swap. The stem for the triple tree is the same length, diameter, uses the same bearings. It's literally just a graft on. I went a bit farther than that. So I'm going to talk about what we got here and a little more in depth. Also going to talk about what I did to it and ultimately the cost. So I've got my handy dandy spreadsheet here. I keep track of all my expenses for my projects that I do. Just kind of keep a ballpark estimate of what I've got into it, if I go to sell it, or just kind of keep track of what I've got into my projects. So the grand total, because I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys are here for, of my conversion was $1,491.23. There is certainly a lot of cheaper ways to do this. That was the way that I did it. I got all the parts I wanted, and then everything in this is a known quantity. I don't have to worry about stuff crapping out on me. I'll talk about that as we go along. So let's just start at the top. So bought this SV650. I've got a video about it. I'll link up in the doobly-doo somewhere up hereabouts. With the plan to ultimately build this into a homage to Michael Woolaway's bike over at Deus Ex Machina, the Beastie. It is a pretty half-ass attempt at it, but it's kind of the limit of my skill and tool set at this time. I'm pretty happy with it. I love the way it rides. I love the way it performs. It's far more than what I need with my riding skill set as well. So we're gonna just put a lot of miles on it. But this GSXR front end I bought from a guy locally on Craigslist. It was top and bottom triple clamp, both forks, front wheel, brakes, axle, literally just the whole front end. I had the grips as well. The clip-ons and the grips. Bought that whole thing for $500. You can probably find them cheaper than that, but they're pretty few and far between to be cheaper than that. You can look around on eBay. I've found them for $600 to $800, plus and minus. That was for, I forget what years it is. I'll put links down in the doobly-doo below down to for everything that I did. What years and make and model, parts you need, and all that kind of stuff. But I took this GSXR front end. The bottom triple had the stop blocks for the steering stops were broken off on both sides, so I had to get a new bottom triple. That ran me, what, $60 on eBay. I got a quick turn throttle from Spears Racing. Again, that is an extra part that you don't have to do this, but I put that on there. That one was $30. I won't say I rebuilt the forks, but I replaced the fork seals, so they were a known issue, so they were a known quantity. Got the fork seal kit from All Balls Racing. That was $27.36. And then I just did cheap Maxima 5-weight oil, and that was $20. And that was for 2 liters. I actually ended up only using 1. I forget the exact amount, but I will put a description down in the some information down in the description about the air level that I put in here. I've got a note of it somewhere, but not handy. Not handy. I want to do a bar riser on this bad boy just to make it a little more comfortable to sit up, make sure the clip-ons weren't going to hit into the tank. So I got a custom top triple made. This is from a guy over in the UK. I believe now he is going by Nuke Moto. I'll pop a link up here in the description, or a link up here for a card for my video of when that showed up. It is beefy, it fits perfect. I'm super happy with it. I'll put a link down below again to all of these things. I'm really happy with how it came together. So I got the one with the bar risers, and he offers options to keep or get rid of the ignition. This is a road bike, so I wanted to keep that. Fit on here perfectly. I got a Pro Taper. It's a Contour super low bar. That bar was $67. That was on Amazon. And at that point, kind of the bones of it were all put together and ready to go. That top triple, by the way, was $190.26 shipped. Next thing on my list here are brake hardware. This lever pivot was boned, so I got a new lever pivot bolt. Also got new brake mounting bolts. The ones I had were super rusty and chewed up. The Allen sockets inside of those were rounded over from previous owners. So I got new mounting bolts there, as well as new crush washers, just to make sure that that was all new. So then I could mount this all up. Next on the list were throttle cables. So I tried a couple of things. I got an SV650 in throttle cable set. This is the sport housing, and it does not, well, the one that was on my bike was a sport housing versus the in housing. And the way that the throttle cables hook up to it was incompatible with that, so I decided to go with a set of V-strom throttle cables. As you can see, they're just a little bit long. They stick up a little bit farther than I would like. I may have some custom ones made later, but other than that, they work fantastically. You know, V-strom engine is basically the exact same engine as the SV650, and so these hook up to the throttle body is perfect. The throttle housing tube is all the same assembly. So this is from a V-strom. That was $38.96 on eBay. When I got this put on here, we got new brake fluid. That was $5. I got a new fender. The one that the front end I bought did not come with a fender. This one is an ABS plastic injection molded one I got on eBay for $27.59. It came in white, unpainted, so I had to pick up some paint and do that. I actually just used some paint I had lying around from when I did my white SV, but sand it down, hit it with some primer, and then I've got matte black on here. I do plan eventually to redo it gloss, but I kind of like the matte. I might keep the matte. I don't know. We'll see where we go for that. Mirrors, mirror. I've just got one side mount mirror over here. This guy was an Amazon special. It's $21.49. I do not suggest going this route. I'm going to redo this at some point in the future. This is as tight as this will get on here, and this pivot bolt that sits inside, it just spins inside of the handlebar there, so that as I drive, as I ride down the road, the wind blows it up. So if I want to look, I got to push it down, and just not a super great solution for that. Buy high-end equipment. That's my suggestion to you guys. I will get more into that in just a minute. Also got these grips. These are Renthal grips. They are G148 gray, dull gray, full diamond, medium. I like that gray. This is after one season of riding. You can see they're already starting to wear out a little bit just from me leaning on them. But I like them. They're squishy. They're comfortable. They absorb a fair amount of vibrations. Next thing on my list here, keeping it street legal, are turn signals. I've got these LED fork mount turn signals. These guys come, I believe they were made for a Harley Davidson, but they are, I'm pretty happy with them. They're pretty bright, they're easy to see, they were easy to wire in. I've got kind of a jumble of wires that to get my custom front end here going, but these just go into, I wired them into the original plug that comes off of the sport wiring harness that goes on the front fairing. So coming off of that plug, actually this one right here, it goes to the turn signals as well as the headlights. I just wired those in. I'm pretty happy with them overall. Keeps junk from sticking out on the bike. Bright and easy to see. Because those are LED signals, I went ahead and got a LED signal relay that was $10. Some various hardware to mount the fender and everything was $4 or $5. I've got tires highlighted on here. If you pick up a new front end, you will almost certainly want to replace the tire that's on that bike. Obviously, you can look at the date code and the tread pattern and make sure, you know, I'll leave that to your own discretion, but I bought tires. That was just part of my build out. So it was, I got some Bridgestone S22s on both the front and the back. That back wheel is a GSXR rear wheel with a swap kit from TWF Racing. I'll throw a card up here to that video. So at that point, I was ready to cruise around. I had gotten a set of cheap Amazon levers. The clutch lever didn't work. It was a GSXR set because I had the GSXR brake, so the clutch lever did not work for this SV. So I used the one that came with the bike because you'll reuse this clutch perch and lever. It just slides on the bar there. I said a minute ago to buy quality equipment, and I stand by that. Do not buy cheap levers. There are a bunch of videos online that will explain to you why and show you why. If you get cheap levers, you're going to crash. What happens is the pivot bolt in here is not allowed to come out fully, and so your brakes lock up while you're cruising down the road. With that cheap lever that I had, my brakes kept locking up, and so I was like, oh, it's got to be a problem with the brake system, whatever. You know, this was a used system, so let me just rebuild the brake calipers. So I rebuilt these calipers. I'd planned to do that anyway, just so they were a known quantity, and I'll drop a picture right here of what was inside of them that made me very glad I did go ahead and rebuild them before I put very many miles on this bike. It was freaking gross. But master cylinder rebuild kit was $20.35. The caliper rebuild kit was $43.91. That was for both sides. I got new brake pads. Again, you could do this cheaper and just keep the pads that are in there, just slap it on there and then replace things as you start to have issues. But like I said, I wanted this to be a known quantity, so I did get new brake pads. I got some that were a little better than stock. They were Carbon Lorraine XBK5, and those were $80.92. And then the levers that I was talking about, these guys are Vortex adjustable levers. I bought GSXR brake and matching SV650 clutch. Those are Vortex levers. They were $156.34. In addition to all those things, I also have written down here, you want to get new head bearings? I did not. I will replace them in the future. The ones that I had were in pretty good tick. But if you do this, I will suggest do as I say, not as I do, and get new head bearings. So they are a known issue as well. And also another cost that I incurred that, where's it at? New fork tool kit. Yeah, the fork rebuild kit. I'll put a link down to that down below. I got that from Traction Dynamics. I've got a video, if I can throw another card up, I will up here, of rebuilding those forks. I say rebuilding again, I just replaced the seals, but you got to take the fork all the way apart to do that. That toolkit was instrumental in that. I forget exactly how much that cost, but I will link down to that below as well. So that's it, guys. That is the cost. That was my cost to put this GSXR front end on my bike. It was almost $1,500 just for the front end. That doesn't include the headlights. This bracketry here was all custom from me. I am going to put on a video about my gauge cluster here. That's an Arduino custom-made gauge cluster that I built. So my next video is going to be about that guy. Because again, if you swap this front end, you're gonna have to figure out something for your gauges. That's just the way it goes. The stock SV650 gauge, there's multiple ways to figure out how to do it. You know, if you're slapping this on a sport version of the SV650, you may be able to keep your stock mounting hardware. I don't know. I can't speak to that because I didn't do that. But again, there's cheaper ways to do all this. You can certainly just buy a $500 GSXR front end and graft it on here and cruise around. You know, if you got a buddy that wrecks one, maybe you get one cheaper than that. I don't know. These were my costs. I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea of what to expect if you want to do something like this. Again, like I said, if you're gonna do any kind of work like this to your bike, get quality equipment. Get a good torque wrench and make sure everything is to spec. Rebuild the parts. You're just going to be happier in the long run if you do it because you're going to not crash and die. You know, these are things that if they go wrong can be fatal. If you're cruising down the road at 90 miles an hour and your steering head bearing locks up because it's rusty because you didn't think you needed to replace it, you know, that's on you that you crash and go sliding down the road at 90 miles an hour. Yeah, so that's that. $1,500 to get a good quality GSXR front end on a motorcycle that I bought for $600. Is it a good investment? I'll keep this bike for a long time. It'll pay for itself, I'm sure, in enjoyment over the SV650 stock setup. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm sure several of you will, you know, trash me down in the comments. Oh, that was a dumb investment, and that's fair. You know, to each of their own. We've all spent a bunch of money on things that we shouldn't have or didn't need to. So yeah, that's where I'll leave you guys. Like I said, I'll post another video real soon about that Arduino gauge cluster. I'm pretty proud of how that came together. It is still a work in progress, but I'm pretty happy with it overall. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.